How are you guys doing today? Welcome back. Today is July 5th, 2022. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Evan. This is By the Bulls Trading, the only YouTube channel and FinTwit presence that just encourages you to take your trading just by the balls. Let's get it, my boys and ladies. So, if you are new to my channel, I appreciate it. Give the whole video a watch if you enjoy what I do here with the 8 picks a day. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, especially the like button. It takes 4 seconds. It does nothing against you. It just helps my video reach more people. It is a free video. It is some great information here. If you would very kindly hit the like button. And if you like it a lot, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. If you truly enjoy what I do, if you enjoy the free lessons that I do, if you want to have more content by me, go check out bythebulls.com. I'll put a picture probably on screen here. With a subscription to my lovely handmade and hand-woven tapestry known as a website, you're going to get morning newsletters, you're going to get afternoon newsletters, you're going to get these picks early, a live stream of these picks, you're going to get 25 extra video lessons, a bunch of other great stuff at Discord, talk to me directly, a whole bunch of good stuff. You may get fee picks if you play your cards right. Keep that in mind. So go check out bythebulls.com. If you enjoy what I do, if you want to support what I do, if you really want to learn some new stuff. With that being said, 8 great picks today. I want to check these out together. Actually, all these are bullish plays. I'm not saying that the markets are 100% going to be bullish, but they seem to be having some momentum that way. I have a lot of good shorts from last week you could check out, but I think for today, some good long plays. With that being said, let's check them out. Some good charting. Let's do it together. So real quick, you'll see on the screen, I should put it on here if I don't forget, because I do have what we call Smooth Brain and Big Dumb. You'll see all my lines and what they mean. So the first one is AMLP, ALPS ETF. So again, it's ETF. Do your fundamental research on this. You could compare it to the Russell 2000 and see if it's better. If it is, that's a good start with most ETFs. But again, your fundamental analysis has to come in for yourself. I just do TA here. I do fundamentals with other people, but for this channel alone, it's technical analysis. Research is on you. AMLP, starting as a really good support. You had an old resistance become a support, and then it became a very pivotal spot amongst all these moves here. Held up once again, and now it's bouncing nicely. We have a nice resistance line, again, very clear as well. Very nice channel to play off of for risk versus reward. The second thing that I'm noticing here is our trend line. We have 3 or 4 solid hits up, and that does match the resistance trend very nicely as well here. So I do like that it is a channel up. It is only 3 hits on the resistance trend, but it is nice to notice that it is very consistent, and that helps us with our overall risk versus reward. If you do want to hold for 20-25%, that's brutal in this market. I don't think that's the greatest idea, but if you do go for it, you at least have some idea on what kind of risk you're taking on and what kind of reward you're going to be getting. So I do like what I'm seeing. The last thing is all my cats go to see who just got home is our POC. This is our volume profile lines. I have a whole video on that. Check that out. But this is a gravitational node. The POC, the 2 red lines that I draw, it shows 2 things. The first thing being it is the strongest support and resistance on this time frame. So now that we're below it, it will be the strongest resistance. And that makes sense. See how much action just stops at it constantly? This is a very strong resistance. You're like, well, that kind of sucks and that blows. It does. But the second thing about POCs is that they're gravitational. So if you're below it, it wants to pull you higher. The price action, for whatever reason, based off of a supply and demand, buying and selling, is $38 and some change. That's the price folks want to get in at. That's where folks want to sell. It is gravitational. So we are below it. We're below the POC. But it does want to pull us higher. It's a double-edged sword both ways. So you can see whenever you get near the POC, major amounts of consolidation, right? This is where we want to be. So again, we may only hit 38.30 as a best case Ontario here, but if we do hit that, and that's a good sign of life, you may want to get out at that point. Overall, bullish momentum. The trend is up. I like what I see. I don't want to enter here for a value entry. 33 is much better. And what I mean is, I'll show you this with the email lines turned on. There's 2 basic ways to enter a stock. The first being value. You go, oh, AMLP is at $33. What a steal. And then you buy it. The second being momentum. You cross over an SMA line, MA line, or in my case, an EMA line that you choose. You cross over it, you buy into that, and then you use that EMA line area as a stop loss. So you enter your stocks two ways for a beginner: value, momentum. AMLP here is not value. It's not where I want it. I want it a bit lower. Like, well, it's only a 4% difference. Yeah, but risking 4% in this market, they don't need to, is a pretty dumb idea. When it comes to our indicators, this can be easily a momentum play. The reason being, I use the 10 EMA, that's blue, 50's purple, and the 200's red. A crossover is a percent away. You can wait a percent to cross over that, and then use this area from like here to here as your stop loss area. Crossover, very little risk, plain reward. A crossover works fine here. When it comes to our other indicators, an RSI, 43 is fine. You wish it was lower, but that's okay. It's fine. You don't have a bullish divergence. You just have nice higher lows, so no divergence, but negative 16. Again, it's fair. And then our vortex, you want the bulls down here, bears up here for value entry, but we can see they're consolidating. So in some way, shape, or form, all three indicators are in the middle, showing it's not a great value, which I just mentioned, but is saying that a crossover or a consolidation play is possible. AMLP, I like what I see. I'd watchlist it. You have to have patience. You have to have patience for it to go lower to where you want it, or have patience for it to cross over to where you want it. But either way, hand off the trigger there, Jack. You know, if you're big steal there, sick Red Dead Redemption joke there. Give it some time. I do like what I see, though. Next is CHK. Compared to AMLP, this is a very nice trend up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hopefully 8 very strong hits here. And I mean, it was what looked like to be a channel up for a while there, right? I kind of had those hints here building up, and now it's kind of breaking out, and that's okay. But this is a very nice play. Old resistance becomes a support. Very clear resistance area here. Our volume profile, it's fine. Again, this is a very strong support for us, but it is gravitational. So for this kind of play, the POC is a negative. See how a lot of price action happens here, a lot of consolidation, a lot of taking its time. Price wants to come down to 54. So again, if it does break down, I won't be overly surprised. But I mean, I think eventually price action up here over the next few months will shift the POC higher, which is a sign of strength. But right here, a great value entry, great support, great trend. You could easily risk 2 or 3% to make about 9 or 12, 3-1, 4-1 odds here. Not bad at all. Great trend up play here. No good pattern, but that's okay. This is a value entry. Again, you're not going to want to wait. 7%, does it look like? 6% for a crossover here. It's too far away, especially risking 3 or 4% here. You open up yourself to that much risk. Doesn't makes very little sense at all. It's just a really good value entry. RSI at 33, I love that. No real divergence. I wouldn't call, I think it'd be a stretch by saying that this double bottom is a divergence. It's close, but I think this is also a bit down, so I wouldn't say it's a divergence. But negative 50 is a good value. Bulls, that's what you want. Bottoming out, bears, topping off right here. CHK does lack pattern and recognition, but that trend line is beautiful. So what you give up in kind of your pattern and simplicity, you get back with just a lot of support, and that trend line is really nice. Yes, the POC wants to pull us lower, but risk versus reward dictates in this kind of market. We go with the trend. It's up. Let's take our time. CHK, I like what I see. I want a tad bit lower, but overall, it's a great play. Next is EBR. What's different with this one is we have a consistent pattern here that's very easy to spot. So nice trend up. Again, a nice support spot. Again, it's not as easy to see, but there's definitely some action bouncing off these lines constantly. A better support's probably closer to 775. If it does break down, that's going to be a good support spot. But we have a nice ascending triangle. We have the same bulls buying in at what was 625, and then at 745, and they push it as 925, then 775, and push it to $9, and now 825. We can see bulls have all the power here. When you zoom out, bears can only sell at 9 and 925. Otherwise, bulls buy at 625, 725, 775, 825. We're pushing the top off this bad boy. I think EBR eventually will break out. 945 is a very strong resistance area as you come into the spot. But down here can make 10, 15% off a good move and a breakout. Gaps also formed here. Gaps do want to be filled. Every gap that we see in this time frame, a newer price action will usually fill it pretty quickly. And with this here, I think we may see a spike up and come back down. But either way, good risk, good reward. I do like what I see. When it comes to our EMA lines, as long as we got the 200, we're good to go. And then again, a 10 or a 50 Both work fine here. I wouldn't want to wait 2 or 3%. That's unnecessary risk. You want to take on, I think it's a good value entry, a bit lower. So again, you may want to wait for a crossover or for us to get a bit lower. Either way here, we have to show some patience, right? It's not bad for a crossover, but you got to have some patience. RSI at 45 is fine. It's not great. A clear bullish, nope, that's not bullish divergence at all. That's fine. It's equal at best, but negative 71's a great value. Bulls just crossed under and have room to drop, and bears just crossed over, implying we have some more room to drop or wait for the crossover once again. For me, EBR is a great play, but just like AMLP, you have to have some form of patience. Like Guns N' Roses, baby. Little patience, right? You have to wait for my karaoke single to come out, but also have to wait for EBR to drop a bit more or go a bit higher. Overall, I do like what I see. I would definitely watch this one. Next is Geo, the best wedge of the day. Let me rephrase that, best horizontal wedge of the day. What we can see is a clear resistance trend, a clear supporting trend. Support's here, resistance is here. It's getting tight. You had massive moves, massive thralls of emotion, Pantera joke, and now you're having much tighter moves, much more consistent moves. Now, you have higher lows and lower highs, so eventually it's going to break out. It's not going to go sideways forever, but this is a nice spot to look at. I think at 6.30, 6.3 cents, you're looking at a good value. For momentum play, there will be EMA lines of crossover. Overall, a very good wedge breakout play. You want to see moves of 10, 15% eventually, break out and see higher highs. What we're looking for, as you can see, I'm not changing my screen. What we're looking for is for the 10, the 50, and especially the 200 EMA line to be in between. Let me zoom in between our 3 EMA lines, or in between the resistance trend and the supporting trend. You want all 3 EMA lines in the middle of GEO. If it has that, that's further proof that this is a consolidation play. Let's check together. If that's true, we're going for a breakout. By golly gee willikers, how did I know this was going to happen? Well, 1, years of experience, and 2, I know what to look for. So this is definitely a consolidation play. A 10 cross, 200 cross, 50 cross. All 3 are the same here. You cross over. Great sign of momentum. Again, a major wedge here. I'm curious what the indicators look like. 45 means it's dead center. Makes sense. Stochastic, again, at negative 23. It's fair. Bulls low, bears high. It's everything you want in a momentum play, right? You want to wait for a breakout? Great. You want to wait for a better value, a few cents lower? Great. But once again, GEO, I would give it a day or two to pick a side. Momentum entry with green or a value entry with red. Either way, I would give it a day or two, but overall, I do love what I see. Halfway there, boys. Next is IP. IP has a very strong resistance area here. There's my price targets for those who join my buythebulls.com. You can see a very clear support spot here. Strong, 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 strong. This is a very important spot to be at. Again, you do have it slightly breaking down. That makes me a bit nervous. And you're not going to buy here. You're going to buy probably 2 or 3% lower or wait for a crossover. Just like my other plays, the POC wants to pull us higher. It will be very hard to break $47. But overall, a very simple idea here. What you lose in convergence, which means a lot of factors building up in your favor, support, resistance, trend lines, patterns, all that building up in your favor, you're getting rid of it, and in return you get idiot-proof simplicity. If that white support line breaks, you just get out. All right, it breaks below $40 and some like 20 cents, $4.20. It breaks beneath that, you cut your losses and you get out with nothing. If it breaks over that and continues up, you can hold. So anytime you're below 40, 50, I'm getting nervous. I'm going to give it a % or 2 and I'm going to get out if it breaks. Otherwise, you could buy in, hold, and have very little risk. Very simple play here. A 10 EMA crossover makes a lot of sense here. Right, you cross over the 10 tomorrow. Make sure the candle holds. See how that wick there faked you out? Right there. You get one of these tomorrow and it holds, and then you have a line like this, you can go long all you want. I think a 50 cross makes more sense. It doesn't do well under the 50. You have some small day trading opportunities here, but a 50 cross is better. I wouldn't really wait for that. We're talking almost like 4 or 5%. But again, it's there. A 10 cross is fine. RSI at 44, it's fine. -6, it's fine. Bulls are low, bears are fair. Again, I'm not overly concerned with indicators with IP. I'm concerned with that support line. If that $40.20 support line holds, go long if you can manage risk. Otherwise, if it's me, I'm waiting for it to come down lower and then go from there, or wait for a 10 EMA crossover. Either way, IP, I'd watch list it. I do like what I see. Next is LPG, Dorian LPG. A nice play here. Remember LPG at this support line. I played it a bunch of times. It's taken off. It's really matured. What a sight to see. First things first, I'm the realist. No, this is a really nice support line at 1370 and 1380. Good support, strong resistance to see. Great higher lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hopefully 6 holding up well. You would have liked to buy in just a bit lower, and you may have gotten in like 2 or 3% lower, but this is still fine. You can risk 2 or 3%, make about 6 or 7, a good 3-to-1 play here. Good higher lows. This is a broadening wedge though. What this means is that whenever a pattern has that megaphone where the resistance and the supporting trend don't match, all that means to you is a new pattern is going to form soon. I didn't say a new bullish pattern. I didn't say a new bearish pattern. I said a new pattern will form soon. It could be good, bad, ugly. It could be horizontal, wedge. We don't know. But eventually LPG will make a new pattern. Keep that in mind. Because it's not going to go on forever doing this. Like, watch my cursor. It's not going to go on forever making just big moves, getting gradually more like, see what I mean? It's not going to do this forever. This is what a broadening wedge forever would look like. It's not going to do this with the price action. Eventually, it's going to break one way or the other. So be cautious. It may go horizontal. It may go bearish. It could go mega bullish. Just be cautious. Overall, low risk, high reward. I like what I see. When we zoom in for a check of our EMA lines, a 200 cross is really good here. When you're above the 200, you're having a good time. You're rocking out. Under the 200, you're not seeing your best day. So a 10 cross, 200 cross, both work very fine here. RSI, it's fair. Stochastic, it's fair. Negative 40 is fine. Bulls and bears are tied once again. The trend is upwards. You're not going to have mega value on a bullish setup all the time. It doesn't make any sense to be bullish and be at value. Like, gotta give something up. So the RSI and the stochastic being just okay is fine in return for that kind of risk versus reward. LPG, I'd watch list it. I do love what I see. Next is UNFI, United Federal Foods. So UNFI here, a nice new trend forming here. 1, 2, 3 higher lows. Same resistance trend here. Very strong support at 38.25. Great resistance to see here. Again, our POC is going to want to pull us lower. Wants to drag us down here. So much price action taps here and lives. You may be seeing a lower low, close to 8 or 9% pullback. But if you do see 36.70, that's a great place to enter. So if it's me, if you're like, I don't love this play, I want it lower, take your line tool, put it like right above it, and then you can zoom in, right click it, and then go to create alert withdrawing, and then set an alert. So now, if you really want to enter towards value, put an alert at $37, and when it crosses beneath it, you'll get an alert in your market watch. Like I have these from the other few days here. You'll have those ready to go, and you'll be alerted so you know when it's coming down. Otherwise, good small channel up here, good support. I don't love it here. There may be a crossover for us. Bada boom, who knew? Look at that. So a 50 crossover is much better than a 10. 200 is even better. So I would wait for a 50 crossover here. Once we get that, you can buy in a momentum. Otherwise, I want $38. RSI, it's fair. It makes sense. It's been like 3 days of green. Stochastic, room to run. It's still not a great value, but it has room to run here. So you may see a 50 cross, retest, takeoff, and then bulls and bears are tied once again. UNFI here has room to drop. It also has room to run, just like AMLP, EBR, GO, and IP. Have some patience. Let this bad boy drop to you or cross for you. But in the meantime, watch listed, UNFI. I do love what I see. Lastly is Zion. Just like Zion Williamson's career, oh boy, tanking here. Just kidding. He just signed a $260 million deal for being fat on the sidelines. Good for him. I can't even hate. That's so dope. Zion here is a really strong support play, right? This is where a lot of action bounces at. On top of that, it's our first wedge down and our only wedge down of the day. Consistent resistance trend, consistent supporting trend. It's going to come to a head here. Wedge ups, break down. Wedge downs, break up. More often than not, it's not 100%. It's usually like a 65 to 60% success rate. but these tend to break up. And what's really nice is that you have built-in risk management. Anything below $48, I'm getting kind of nervous. So it's 4 or 5%. Not great when you're trying to go for like 5 to 10% for a small breakout here. So if you do see momentum crack and you see it break out the resistance trend here, buying into a breakout momentum does make some sense. For me, I want to see it closer to 50, if not closer to 49. So again, I want to have some patience with this play. 10 EMA crossover is fine. I'm not super excited for a 10 cross when you're in a downtrend. I want a 50 cross if possible. I wouldn't wait for that. That's like 6% or like 3 or 4% away. I'm not waiting for that. It's just a good value. RSI, it's fair. Stochastic, you have a clear bullish divergence. Like this is clear as day. Lower lows, but you have higher lows. It's gearing up for a breakout. That's what you want to see. Bulls are low, bears are high. Once again, I think Zion is too much risk here in this bear market for my taste. Yes, we are in a bear market, and you're going to go long on a downward trending stock. You got to have a better value. I think Zion, a bit lower or a bit higher makes some sense. I love it, but I want to give it some time. That's been the theme of the day with this big green move. Let the markets breathe. They will come back or they'll blast off. You'll be fine either way, but have a plan for momentum and for value. Many players are not there right now. I'd pump the brakes and wait for it to come to me. Zion, I do like what I see. I would definitely watch list it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Again, check out buythebulls.com. Check out all my other content on here. It's all good stuff. Otherwise, have a good rest of you guys. It's Tuesday. Happy 4th to you. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.